Rounding out our Generation 1 starters is Venusaur. Venusaur is the Grass-type starter from Generation 1, and that means it's at an inherent disadvantage from the very beginning, so we're going to have to work with its strengths and play more defensively than both Blastoise and Charizard, but let's see just how quickly Venusaur completes the run. And before we get into the run, as always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for the support you've shown in the recent runs. Charizard in particular did very well for itself, and I was incredibly shocked to see its placement on the leaderboard. So be warned, if you haven't seen that run, there are spoilers ahead. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please do consider leaving it a like. If you want to see more content just like this, then click the subscribe button. And let me know, do you think that Venusaur will beat Meganium's time? I think it's a little unfair to compare Venusaur to both Blastoise and Charizard, so we'll just have to see how it does against the other grass starter. And now let's take a little look at our base stats as we start the run. We are level 5 with 21 HP. We're holding a berry and our moves are Tackle and Growl. We have 10 in attack, 10 in defense, 11 in special attack, 11 in special defense, and 10 in speed. So overall we have very well-rounded base stats, and now let's get the challenge underway. We'll get the potion from Professor Elm's aid, and as always I'll show you the very first encounter. We encountered a level 2 female Rattata, and it's just 3 tackles which all hit to knock it out, and we can make our way towards Cherry Grove City. We're going to bypass Cherry Grove entirely though, and go straight towards Mr. Pokemon's house, and we'll do a little bit of grinding before we get that free heal. So we're going to knock out this level 3 Hoothoot with a plethora of tackles, and at level 7 we will learn Leech Seed. Leech Seed is going to be imperative for getting through some of these trickier battles, so I'm glad to have it on the learn set so early. And while we're in Mr. Pokemon's house, I will take this opportunity to tell you I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chikorita with Bulbasaur. Being the grass starter from Generation 1, it made sense to replace the grass starter from Generation 2. And that of course means that the rival will have a Cyndaquil, and we'll see it for the first time right about now. So we're going to Leech Seed that Cyndaquil straight away because our physical attack isn't that great against it. And a couple of tackles combined with the draining effect of Leech Seed means we get through on full health, we grow to level 10, we learn Vine Whip, and we can make our way back to New Bark Town. And when we're back in Professor Elm's lab, we'll tell the police officer that the rival's name is triple question mark because that's how he identified himself. We'll get the Pokeballs from Professor Elm's aid, and we can make our way towards Violet City. Violet City is where our first gym leader is waiting for us, however we're not going to take him on straight away. He is a flying type leader, and us being a grass type Pokemon means we are going to struggle quite significantly. Instead we're going to go into the Sprout Tower where we have the 4 times resistance against all these Bellsprout's Vine Whip, and against this Bellsprout here we grow to level 15. At level 15 we have the choice of both Poison Powder and Sleep Powder. We decline Poison Powder but replace Growl with Sleep Powder, and then we can use that to send Pokemon to sleep, and we'll be utilising that for the rest of this battle. Sleep Powder is only 75% accurate, but that's still an awful lot better than moves like Hypnosis. It's no Spore, that's for sure, however it's the best we have, and we're going to utilise that along with Leech Seed against this Hoothoot, and in fact Leech Seed is probably the reason we got through this without fainting. Getting that 4 HP back at the end of each turn really helped us survive. We'll get the Flash HM for defeating Elderly, and we can make our way out of the Sprout Tower and into Violet City's gym. We're still a Bulbasaur at this point, however taking on the second gym trainer here, Birdkeeper Rod, we go up against his 2 level 7 Pidgey. Being more than double his level, we are able to knock them out without having to send them to sleep, and against the second Pidgey we grow to level 16. At level 16 we get our first evolution, so it's goodbye to Bulbasaur and hello to Ivysaur. Ivysaur has a nice buff to its base stats, and we'll be taking advantage of that against our first gym leader together. This is Falconer, the flying type specialist who leads with Pidgey. We send the Pidgey to sleep straight away, and then we get to tackling. It's 2 shots on the Pidgey with tackle, and we're onto the Pidgeotto with full health. The Pidgeotto comes out, and we send that to sleep straight away. We get to tackling, but it's only a 1-turn sleep. Gust does quite a bit of damage, but it's 3 shots on the Pidgeotto to knock it out, and we have our first badge in a time of 12 minutes and 5 seconds. And with Falconer's badge safely tucked away in our bag, we can make our way south towards the Union Cave. On the way to the cave, we'll pick up the most important item in the game, the Paralysed Cure Berry, and we'll also pick up the Miracle Seed from Mr. Roadblock just south of Violet City. The Miracle Seed will give us a 10% boost to our Grass-type moves, so we'll be holding that quite often in this run. And now it's time to catch the HM friends. The first one is Paris, and on Team Paris we have Gemma, we have Andrew, we have Peachleaf, and we have Seaduke. Paris is going to be helping us out with Dig, Cut, Flash, and Sweet Scent, and the second HM friend we get in the forest is Psyduck. And on Team Psyduck we have Snowy, Madhavi, Aya Booster, William St. Germain, Dr. Koof, and King Cygnus. Psyduck is going to be helping us out with Surf, Strength, Waterfall, and Whirlpool, and the HM friends are getting very busy. We'll now make our way into Azalea Gym and take on Bugcatcher Benny. Bugcatcher Benny has a Weedle, Kakuna, and a Beedrill. We one-shot the Weedle, we don't quite one-shot the Kakuna, but it just hardens, and we're on to the Beedrill. And then it's a 3-shot on the Beedrill, and against the Beedrill we grow to level 22. At level 22 we learn Razor Leaf. That is a huge buff of 20 base power and a huge buff of 15 PP compared to Vine Whip. We'll test that out against Bugsy. Bugsy is our second gym leader together. He's a bug-type specialist who led with Metapod. Metapod string shots us so our speed is lowered, and out comes the Kakuna. Being part poison type, Kakuna isn't a danger because we can't get poisoned, and out comes the Scyther. We try sending the Scyther to sleep straight away, and we Leech Seed it to make sure that we are regaining some HP. Then we get to tackling because Scyther is 4 times resistant to our grass type moves, and it's a little bit of a war of attrition. This Scyther definitely needed a long nap though, and a critical hit knocks it out to get the badge in a time of 20 minutes and 52 seconds. We can't celebrate for too long though, because right around the corner outside the gym is our second rival battle. He's going to lead with Ghastly this time, and Ghastly is another pesky Pokemon that's part poison type, so it will resist our grass moves. We try sending it to sleep and we miss twice in a row, and we get sent to sleep. The Ghastly starts licking us, doing roughly 2 HP's worth of damage each turn, so it's not exactly dangerous, it's just very slow. We turn the tables on the Ghastly and send it to sleep and get to Razor Leafing, and it's just 2 shots to eventually knock it out. We're onto the Quilava and we try sending that to sleep, but Sleep Powder misses once more. Our Berry kicks in and then we get to Leech Seeding. That means our HP is going to slowly be creeping back up as the Quilava is entirely immobilized, and we're back up to 62 HP as we move on to his Zubat. Zubat's another Pokemon that resists grass-type moves, so this rival battle in particular is very nasty for the grass type. We get Supersonics there, but we hit through the confusion 2 times in a row, and we've defeated the rival for the second time. Let's now move through the Ilex Forest, getting cuts from the Charcoal Master, and we'll also grab headbutts from the green-haired man staring at the tree. We are quite a mixed attacker, but our special attack is better than our physical attack. However, Headbutt is significantly better than Tackle, so we're going to replace Tackle with Headbutt and have that chance to flinch. And with Headbutt now safely on our learn sets, we'll make our way out of the forest and into Route 34, where we're going to catch our third HM friend. This one's Abra, and on Abra's team we have Austin, Pariah, and SSJ Derp. Abra's only going to be helping us out with Teleport, but it is one of the most useful HM friends we have. Up in Goldenrod City, we'll grab the bikes so that we can cycle around in double quick time, and we'll fetch our final HM friend. This one's Kenya, and on Team Kenya we have Salami Guy and Floor Inspect. With all 4 HM friends safely tucked away in our party, we'll make our way into the National Park, we'll grab the Dig TM and teach that to Paris straight away, and then we'll have a little chat with Floria. Floria makes her way back into the flower shop, but before we chat with her again, we've got to beat up a cow. This is Whitney, she is our third gym leader together. She's a normal type leader who leads with Clefairy. We headbutt the Clefairy and we get a critical hit to one-shot it, and she sends out the Miltank. We send the Miltank straight to sleep and then get to Leech Seeding it. We're taking no chances against her rollouts here. Razor Leaf deals roughly half damage as we Leech Seed it again. Another critical hit Razor Leaf is all it takes to knock the Miltank out, and we get Whitney's badge in a time of 27 minutes and 14 seconds. Let's now make our way back into the flower shop and have a little chat with Floria and her sister. They'll give us a Squirts bottle, and that will allow us to annoy that pesky tree blocking the way between Violet City, Ecruteak City and Goldenrod City. We just use 1 Razor Leaf in it to knock it out, it runs for the hills, and we'll make our way into Ecruteak City. In Ecruteak City we have the Dance Theatre, and as always I'll show you the type we are weakest to, And in this instance, it's Flareon. We headbutt the Flareon twice to knock it out and we take no damage. Our reward for knocking out all 5 of the evolutions is Surf. We'll teach that to Psyduck a little bit later on, but for now we're heading east towards the Lake of Rage. We're going to be grabbing the rare candy just next to the Hidden Power house, and then we'll get Hidden Power. Much like in the Charizard run, Hidden Power Ice is definitely the way to go here. That will provide as much type coverage as possible against those pesky types we cannot knock out. We'll head back to Ecruteak City, grab the Minceberry from the Moo Moo farm, and we'll make our way into the Burnt Tower. In the Burnt Tower, the rival is waiting for us. This is our third battle together, and he leads with Haunter. Haunter knows how to swear, so we put it to sleep straight away. We are family friendly over here, and then we get to Razor Leafing it. 2 Razor Leafs later, and it goes down, and we are on to the Quilava. We'll try sending that to sleep as well, but we miss on our first turn and we end up taking a little bit of damage from Ember. We then get to Razor Leafing it, but that's not doing much damage at all. Headbutt is doing a lot more as we go down to 54 HP as the Magnemite comes out. The Magnemite is incredibly pesky, so we got very lucky that we didn't get status from it, and his final Pokemon is Zubat. Zubat isn't too strong, but still manages to confuse us. We hit through the confusion like we did in the last battle though, and we get through the rival in a time of 33 minutes and 12 seconds. And now this is where the run gets a little bit strange. I'm going to show you the full process from leaving the rival into the Pokemon Center where I went to heal up before taking the gym. And you might notice that we get a phone call here from Professor Elm. We got the Pokéross. This is the very first time it's happened, and if you're not too familiar with the Pokéross, this will double the amount of stat experience we get in battle. I was very shocked at this point and looked through my party, and it was Paris who got the Pokéross for us. So we are now going to have double stat experience for the rest of this run. Now if you're like me and weren't too familiar with what stat experience was until a few weeks ago, then you really should check out Kangastan's channel. In the next couple of days he's got a Pokémaths video coming out that will explain everything to do with stat experience. As soon as it's out, the link will be in the description and it really will be worth a watch. But while we've been waffling, the good times keep rolling in for the Ivysaur as we are now a Venusaur. Venusaur has a huge buff to its base stats once more, and that is just what we need to take on Morty. Morty is our 4th gym leader together. He is a ghost and poison type trainer who leads with Ghastly. We use Hidden Power Ice against the Ghastly and it's a one-shot. We'll do exactly the same against the Haunter, but we don't quite one-shot. We get sent to sleep, but the Minceberry wakes us up. The Gengar uses Mean Luck instead of Hypnosis, and that was the luck we needed, because then we can just 2-shot this Haunter to take no damage in the battle whatsoever. Fog Badge acquired in a time of 36 minutes and 44 seconds. We get the Shadow Ball TM, which would have been glorious to have, but unfortunately we don't learn it. We'll make our way into Olivine City. The first thing we do in Olivine City is pick up the Strength HM from the man in the cafe. So I'll teach that HM along with Surf to Psyduck right now and ascend the lighthouse and have a little chat with Jasmine. I don't know what it is about that woman, but I really cannot stand her. However, we will still oblige because we need to make progress through this run, so we'll sail the open seas over to Cinewood City and get the medicine from the man in the dodgy shop. While we're in Cinewood City, we might as well take on Chuck's gym, and we have the double type advantage over Chuck. We are a grass type Pokemon, which will be fantastic for the Poliwrath, and we also resist fighting type moves. So he leads with Primeape, we use Razor Leaf, and it's a 2-shot with Razor Leaf on the Primeape. He sends out the Poliwrath and we use Razor Leaf, we take it deep into the yellow as Hypnosis misses, another Razor Leaf knocks it out, and we have Chuck's badge in a time of 41 minutes and 50 seconds. We'll get Dynamic Punch, but we don't have hands to use that, so instead we'll have a little chat with Chuck's wife, we'll get the Fly HM, and we'll make our way over to the Lake of Rage. At the Lake of Rage there's a very angry red Gyarados waiting for us, so we'll engage the Gyarados into battle and start Razor Leafing it. Razor Leaf does neutral damage, and with a critical hit, it's a 2-shot. That means we have a little chat with Lance the Liar with the Flyers. He takes us around the Mahogany Underground, but with nothing of great significance apart from getting the Whirlpool HM in there. We'll skip the Rocket section and go straight into Price's gym. Price is an Ice-type trainer who leads with a Seal, but all 3 of his Pokemon are weak to Grass. So he's super effective against us, we're super effective against him, and we'll have to see who comes out on top. We one-shot the Seal and we're onto the Dugong. Dugong's pretty bulky, but not bulky enough to survive a Razor Leaf, and neither is Piloswine. 3 one-shots for Price and we get a very easy 6th badge in a time of 47 minutes and 21 seconds. Let's now get out of the very cold gym because I don't like the cold, And we're going to do our housekeeping. The first thing we'll do is pick up the rare candy south of the Sprout Tower. We'll make our way into Goldenrod City and pick up the return TM from the lady at the desk. We'll take a trip south of Goldenrod to grab the rare candy just outside the daycare, and we'll fly all the way back to Olivine City to go up the lighthouse once more. At the tippy top of the lighthouse, we see Jasmine. We give her the potion, and hopefully she's not stolen any for that pesky Steelix this time. We'll get to the gym straight away to make sure she's not doing anything naughty whatsoever, and she is of course our 7th gym leader together. She's a steel type trainer who will lead with Magnemite, and Magnemite is incredibly pesky because we can't one-shot it and we get paralysed and confused. That is a really bad start to this battle, but we'll power through regardless. We're on to the Steelix, and Steelix is of course neutral to grass type moves, but we cannot get a move in edgeways. We get knocked out and we take our very first reset of the run. We'll try again, this time holding the Paralysed Cure Berry, and we managed to get through the Magnemites without being paralysed or confused, and we're onto the Steelix once more. Iron Tail critical hits, but we critical hit right back, and we're onto the final Magnemite. We get paralysed on this final Magnemite, but we hit through paralysis, and we get through the battle on our second turn, and our reward for getting through the battle is learning Growth. So it's goodbye to Headbutt and hello to Growth. Growth is going to raise our special attack, and having 2 special attacks on our learn set, it's going to be a fantastic move all around. However, we're going to get a physical move back. We're going to say goodbye to Leech Seed, and we're going to say hello to Return for this rival battle. Even though our special attack is phenomenal, some Pokemon will need a physical attack to take them down. He leads with a Golbat, and we use Hidden Power Ice to one-shot it, so he sends out his Quilava. Quilava's one of those Pokemon that will resist both grass and ice, so we're just going to return it instead, and it's a 2-shot on it, and here comes another pesky Magnemite. Razor Leaf isn't a one-shot, but he Sonic Booms us, and we knock it out on our 3rd turn against it, and he sends out Haunter. Hidden Power Ice is a one-shot on the Haunter, and his final Pokemon is Sneasel. We use Return against the Sneasel because it's very physically frail, and we have defeated the rival for the 4th time. We take on the rest of the Rockets and rescue the director of the radio tower, and we'll pick up the spoils from doing that. We'll get the pink boat from Marie, and we'll also get the radio card from the lady at the desk. The radio card will allow us to wake up that sleepy bear in Kanto, but for now we've got to go through the ice path. We'll get the Waterfall HM from the ice path, as well as the Nevermelt Ice. And that Nevermelt Ice is going to be glued to our Venusaur for the next battle. It's Claire, the Dragon-type gym leader, who leads with Dragonair. This was one of 2 battles which made me choose Hidden Power Ice for this run, as it's a one-shot on all 3 of Claire's Dragonair to knock them out, and we're already on to the Kingdra. The Kingdra, of course, is neutral to our Hidden Power Ice, so we go to Razor Leaf for that critical hit chance. She hits us with a smoke screen, and that lowers our accuracy. However, we get another critical hit, and now we just have to get 1 more shot on it. Even with the smoke screen, Razor Leaf was more than enough, and we get Claire's badge in a time of 1 hour, 4 minutes and 6 seconds. We can now move out of the Dragon's Den and into Kanto. The only thing of significance that happened on our route to Victory Road was picking up this rare candy just west of the Tojo Falls. We'll make our way into Victory Road, and I was very shocked to see that Venusaur doesn't learn Earthquake, so we'll just have to go straight onto the rival battle. This is our 5th and final rival battle together, and he leads with Sneasel. We're going to use Razor Leaf against the Sneasel and almost but not quite one-shot it. Furicutter did a whole 2 HP's worth of damage. We swap to Hidden Power Ice for the Golbat, and we're going to use Hidden Power Ice against the Kadabra as well. Out comes the Typhlosion, and this is why we have Return on our learn set. We get a lucky critical hit to knock it out in 1, and here comes that pesky Magneton. Magneton Thunder Waves us, so we are paralysed for the rest of this battle. There's only 1 Pokemon remaining for this battle though, and it is Haunter. We're going to use Hidden Power Ice against the Haunter, and it's a one-shot to knock it out. And that's the rival all done and dusted for another run. So we'll say thank you to Triple Question Mark for featuring in this run, and we'll heal up our Pokemon at the Pokemon League. And it's at this time we say thank you to our HM friends. We say thank you to Kenya, to Abra, to Psyduck, and to Paris, and to all of you lovely channel member HM friends as well. We'll grab our 4 full restores, which we'll either need or not for the league, and even though the stats and moves are on screen, we'll have a little look at them in big. We're a level 54 with 187 HP, we also have the Pokerus. We're holding the Nevermelt Ice, and our moves are Hidden Power Ice, Growth, Return, and Razor Leaf. We have 134 in attack, 132 in defense, 151 in the specials, and 130 in speed. Will that be enough to see us through the league? There's only one way to find out, and that's to engage Mr. St. Germain, one of our big HM friends, in battle. This is Will, the Psychic type specialist who leads with Xatu. Hidden Power Ice is enough to one-shot the Xatu and we're on to the Jinx. Jinx is very physically frail, so goes down to a single return and he sends out Xatu number 2. And Hidden Power Ice is just as effective against this Executor as well. So that goes down in a single hit and we're on to the Slowbro. Slowbro, of course, is weak to Razor Leaf, so we one-shot that, and with that we have defeated Will in a time of 1 hour, 10 minutes and 58 seconds, and up next is Koga. Koga is a poison-type specialist who leads with Ariados. Return wasn't quite a one-shot, so we ended up having to hit it twice, and we move on to the Venomoth. I forgot that Venomoth had Psychic, but I did set up a single growth and took minimal damage, and we're on to the Crobat. That growth definitely helped out against the Crobat as we move on to the pesky Fortress. And even with Hidden Power being not very effective, we were able to two-shot the Fortress, and his final Pokemon is Muck. We don't have anything too great against the Muck, so we're going to rely on Hidden Power once more. It's a two-shot and we've defeated Koga in a time of 1 hour, 11 minutes and 39 seconds. Up next is Bruno, and I've got to be honest, Bruno is a little bit pitiful in this run. We one-shot his Hitmontop and he sends out Hitmonchan. It's a two-shot on the Hitmonchan as a super effective Fire Punch did only 15 damage, and it's a very similar situation with the Hitmonlee as well. We take a tiny bit of damage from his high jump kick and we're on to the Machamp. It was looking like a two-shot on the Machamp with Razor Leaf, however we got a terrible damage roll on turn 2 and that gets him healing. So we just repeat the process over again, and this time we knock out the Machamp and his final Pokemon is Onix. Onix isn't even worth talking about because it's gone before I finish my sentence, and we can move on to Karen. Karen, of course, being the bane of my existence in these challenge runs. More specifically, it's this pesky Umbreon. It has Sand Attack and it has Confuse Ray, and we got the double whammy on attempt number 1, so we'll try again a couple of resets later. We switch to return and we take the Sand Attack because at least we're not confused. She sends out Houndoom and we return to take it deep into the red. Flamethrower does an awful lot less than I was worried about, so we can just keep on returning as she gets into a healing loop, and she sends out the Vileplume. We have Hidden Power Ice for the Vileplume, and we're getting very lucky with these accuracy checks. We don't miss against the Gengar, but we don't knock it out in one, and that lets it say some naughty words on my video, so we'll have to move on from that very quickly. We'll get through the Murkrow as well, and we've defeated Karen in a time of 1 hour, 13 minutes and 33 seconds. And the only obstacle now between us and the Hall of Fame is Lance, that pesky liar with the flyers, and he leads with Gyarados. We Razor Leaf on the first turn to bait out the Rain Dance, and then we finish it off with Return, and he sends out Dragonite's number 1. The first Dragonite goes down in a Hidden Power Ice because of course it's 4 times weak to Ice, and then he sees that Aerodactyl is his next best choice. Even though it was his next best choice, it wasn't a great choice because we knock it out straight away. The rain is falling for the Charizard, so he resorts to Wing Attack, and that lets us knock it out very quickly. We KO his level 50 Dragonite in a single hit, and that just leaves his final level 47 Dragonite. We get an unnecessary critical hit to knock it out, and we have defeated Lance in a time of 1 hour, 14 minutes and 28 seconds. And our league time is 1 hour, 14 minutes and 44 seconds. What a phenomenal time for a grass type. Don't you dare go anywhere, Kanto is next. And we're back where it all began outside our house in Newbark Town, where Professor Elm has something to give us. He's going to give us the SS ticket so that we can see all of Kanto. We've only seen a tiny smidge of it so far, but we'll see the rest of it in rapid succession. We'll now welcome back our HM friends, Kenya, Abra, Psyduck and Paris, and we'll make our way towards Mount Mortar. We have a couple of bits to pick up before we go into Kanto proper. We have the rare candy here in Mount Mortar that we couldn't pick up before because we needed Waterfall, and we also have the rare candy in the Whirl Islands. I picked this one up now because it makes most sense seeing as we're already at Olivine City to get the boat. And now with a hop, skip and a jump we're in Vermilion City. And the first thing we do in Kanto is the last thing we do in Johto. We're going to get another rare candy, this time from the chairman of the Pokemon Fan Club. And with that one safely tucked in our bag, we'll cycle through Saffron City and into Celadon City. We've got another couple of bits to pick up here. We're going to get the leftovers from the bin in the cafe, and we're also going to get the PP up from the bush. And now it's time for our 9th gym leader together. This one's Erica, a grass-type specialist just like us, and she leads with Tangela. We've got Hidden Power Ice for this battle, so this should be a foregone conclusion. We one-shot the Tangler and we one-hit the Victory Bell. She sends out Blossom and that's another one-hit wonder. And the final Pokemon is poor old Jumpluff. Jumpluff is 4 times weak to ice, so we knock it out straight away, and we get Erica's badge in a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes and 55 seconds. Up next is Misty, and poor old Misty, she is a water-type trainer, we are a grass-type trainer. You can see where this is going. Golduck goes down, Quagsire goes down with it, she sends out a Lapras and Lapras says goodbye in one hit, and her final Pokemon is Starmie. Starmie's got a Psychic type move but doesn't get a chance to use it, and it's one hit city. We knock all of the Pokemon out in a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes and 19 seconds. Sabrina has a type advantage over us, however Sabrina isn't that great. We knock out the Espeon in a single return, she sends out Mr. Mime, we knock that out in a single return as well, and the final Pokemon is Alakazam. It's 3 returns to knock out all of her Pokemon. Let's see if Lieutenant Surge can pick up the slack for these poor Cantonian gym leaders. He's an electric type specialist who leads with Raichu. Talking of Raichu, that is our very next run coming out after Venusaur. The Raichu manages to paralyse us, but we are going to power through. Electabuzz' Thunder does very little at all as we one-shot it with a Razor Leaf, and out comes Electrode. Electrode uses Double Team, but we hit through his evasion to knock it out in one shot, and here is the pesky Magneton. We get a very lucky critical hit through another Double Team. We do exactly the same against his final Electrode. That high critical hit ratio really came in clutch against Lieutenant Surge there, and now it's time for Brock. And what can I say about poor old Brock? Every single one of his Pokemon is 4 times weak to grass-type moves, so I don't really think I need to say anything at all here. We're just going to watch as every single Pokemon gets knocked out by Razor Leaf, and I'm fairly certain this is the only gym in all of the Pokemon games where the leader's Pokemon are all 4 times weak to the same type. And after Razor Leafing all of his Pokemon, we're going to Razor Leaf with the Boulder Badge in a time of 1 hour, 26 minutes and 37 seconds. We said hello to 3Drill just outside the Viridian Hedge Maze, but we don't have time to chat to him properly this time. Instead, we're going to have a little chat with Blue, who's going to tell us all about the volcano. We'll fetch the rare candy at the very north of Cinnabar Island, and we'll surf our way over to Blaine. Blaine is our 14th gym leader together. He is a Fire-type specialist who will lead with Magcargo, and being that Fire-type specialist, it means he has a type advantage over us. We take advantage of Magcargo always using Curse on the first turn so that we can set up a growth, and we'll knock it out in one. We then use Return against the Bumhead Fireduck to knock that out in a single hit, and exactly the same happens against the Rapidash. That was our most dangerous Cantonian gym done in a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes and 8 seconds. Now it's time for everyone's favourite pushover, it's Janine. And poor old Janine, she has a type advantage over us, but she does nothing with it. All of her Pokemon are slower than our Venusaur, so it's just one-shots all over the place. We're using a combination of Hidden Power and Return to knock out each and every one of her Pokemon, and in the middle of this battle we decline learning Solar Beam. It's a 2-turn move and I just do not like using those. We get Janine's badge in a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes and 54 seconds, and our final gym leader is Blue. He leads with Pidgeot, and our huge special attack means we one-shot it with Hidden Power Ice. He sends out Alakazam next, and Alakazam is incredibly physically frail, so that gets one-shots with Return. Arcanine is up next, and we carry on using Return. Flamethrower takes off roughly a third of our health as another Return knocks it out, and he sends out Gyarados. We set up a growth as he sets up Rain Dance, and then we get to Razor Leafing. Hyper Beam hits us and takes us down to 69 health as we knock it out on our second turn, and up next is Executor. Our growth boosted Hidden Power is enough to knock that out in one shot, and his final Pokemon is Rhydon. Much like Brock's Pokemon, Rhydon is 4 times weak to grass, so we knock it out in a single hit, and we get our final badge in a time of 1 hour, 30 minutes and 9 seconds. And now there's only one thing left to do. We're going to chat with Professor Oak, and he's going to unlock Mount Silver, because it's time to take on our final challenge. It's time for Red. We've made absolutely phenomenal time up until this point, especially considering we are a grass-type Pokemon. We have half an hour to beat Meganium's time. Will we be able to do it? Let me know in the comments down below as I engage Red in battle. It's Red, he is a mixed-type trainer, the final boss of the game, who leads with Pikachu. We don't one-shot the Pikachu as Thunder starts hitting us, and we got Charmed somewhere in the mix as well. We get Paralysed, and that's enough of status conditions for me. We'll try again. So let's try again. Our best strategy is to set up against this Pikachu and try and avoid being paralysed. His Espeon can hit like a truck, having a type advantage over us, so we're going to have to set up early to make sure we can at least two-shot it. We get through the Espeon in 2 shots this time, but we're only on 107 health as we go onto the Snorlax. We try setting up growth, but Body Slam hits us very hard and we get knocked out. Let's put in 3 rare candies to see if we do any better at level 69. We're going to set up once again against the Pikachu as Charm fails. We try setting up 3 growths this time and we avoid getting paralysed. And we're on 184 HP as we knock it out. Here comes Espeon once more and we use Razor Leaf, we outspeed and we get a critical hit, so we knock that out in 1. Up next is that pesky Snorlax. We don't get a critical hit on turn 1 as he sets up Amnesia, and that means he gets to body slamming us. We've got to be very careful not to get paralysed as the Snorlax goes to bed. This does mean that we can set up some growths, but Snore will hit us for a little bit of damage each turn, and that means we're not going to be regaining any HP at all with the leftovers. Snorlax wakes up and uses Body Slam, and even with 6 growths we're barely tickling the Snorlax, so we're going to use a further 3 rare candies. We're now at level 72. We Razor Leaf on the first turn against the Pikachu to try and get him into a healing loop, but Red is having none of this. Instead he's just hitting us constantly with Thunder. We set up a few growths so our special attack is a whopping 585 and we critical hit against the Espeon. And we're now back to my nemesis, that pesky Snorlax, who's got huge special defense and he just bulks it even more with Amnesia. In addition to this, we can get paralysed off Body Slam, so I'm having none of it. We're going to dump in our final rare candies. It's time for level 76. We set up growth against the Pikachu as he charms us, but that does not matter. We are purely going on special attack. Return is redundant to us at this point. We miss our first Razor Leaf, but we hit on our second turn, and our whopping 739 special attack easily one-shots it. We one-shot the Espeon without a critical hit, and we're back to the Snorlax. We set up even more growths against the Snorlax, so we are at 861 special attack. Body Slam once again critical hits, but we don't paralyze, and we say take a critical hit back. It's now Venusaur versus Venusaur, and we have a boosted Hidden Power Ice. It's one shot and good night and thank you to living for that Venusaur, and it's exactly the same for the Charizard. We one-shot it as if it didn't even exist. His final Pokemon is Blastoise. We Razor Leaf it out of the arena, and we defeat Red in a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes and 4 seconds. And that is a truly astonishing time for a Grass-type Pokemon. So let's see where that time puts us on the leaderboard. We are in 7th place. We have even beaten Typhlosion, so I think we can categorically say that the Gen 1 starters are better in Kanto than the Gen 2 starters. But let's now spare a thought for poor Girafarig. It was initially at the top of the leaderboard, but now it's down in the drop zone. Heading up page 2 is Domfan, now in 11th place, and poor Magcargo is still down there, now in 40th place. But with that, we are done. So I'm going to say thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave it a like. If you want to see more content just like this, please do consider subscribing. If you've got anything at all to say, please do leave it in the comments down below. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/trainersquidgy where you can get early access. And until next time, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.